Wait, but I can't keep this a secret. I can't. I have 3 deliveries. Upgraded to cook.
Oh, that makes sense. Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, February 11th. It is 6:19 right now. We got market opening up in about 10 minutes. A lot of news today. The jobs data was released today. So, I mean, obviously there was a big push early this morning. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Never mind, false alarm. I've got Alina today, so if she wakes up, I gotta go check on her. I'm watching her on the baby cam. So, all right, guys, morning, everybody. Like I said, today is Wednesday, February 11th. It is 6:19 right now. We got market opening up in about 10 minutes. Sorry, every time I hear Alina wake up, I gotta like look over at the baby cam. But anyways, like I was saying, there's a lot of news today. We had all the jobs data. It was pretty bullish, so price pretty much spiked up around 5:30 right here. And then it came right back down for retracement, and it's now currently ranging. So before we continue on, just another reminder, guys, I am registered with CFTC NFA as a professional trader, commodity trading advisor, CTA. Future trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You can lose more than your initial investment. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This stream is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing shown or discussed is a solicitation to buy or sell any futures contract or to participate in any trading program. I may hold positions in the market as discussed, but my views may change based on market conditions at any time. If I show any hypothetical or back-tested results during the stream, understand that they have significant limitations and they do not represent actual trading. So with that being said, guys, let's continue on with our stream. Today, I got a couple things that I'm going to be focusing on. So I have the overall bias. Short-term trend is bullish. Long-term trend is bullish. Fundamentals are bullish neutral. The time bucket for today is going to be between 6:40 and 7:30. That's pretty much where all the target entries are kind of listed. My algo entries are going to be around 6:59, 7:05, 7:10. And the strategies I'll be looking at are the MPS, algo, and high-low scalp. I'm going to try to get some algo entries in. So one thing that I noticed, I'm always studying the algo. I'm trying to figure out ways to improve the edge and to find better entries. And what I've noticed is, so when the algo entry comes up, typically like we want the entry to come up above like the momentum. Well, I've noticed that like when it loses, it's like, so for example here, there's no algo entry here, but say for example, we have a buy signal and say the algo entry comes up at like 5:30, right? We want the algo to be past momentum because what I see sometimes and what I've noticed is that when it's like below, so let's see if I can find an example here. It usually doesn't work if it's below. Um, I mean, this is pre-market, so market was pretty dead, but it's going to look for a possible example of that. Okay, so like just use this for an example. So say for example, we had an algo entry here for a sell at like 12:59, right? And the sell signal or momentum was like down here, but the entry was like up here. What happens a lot of times is that it doesn't continue pushing, it's just reversing from that point. So you'll see it, it'll make more sense when I look at it during real time. Um, but I mean, it should make sense. It's basically if you're looking for algo entry, you want the entry to be past the momentum in that direction, and vice versa. For a sell entry, you want it to be past direction in this area. One other thing that I started to mark up to our structure. This pertains more so to like the current market or like what's been happening for the past couple months. I don't like trading outside like open areas. So for example, here, if I'm taking an algo entry for a sell, and say like the entry is like right here, I typically want structure or some type of price area for price to kind of push to. So for example, if I was to take an algo entry right here, I don't want to take it where it's going to get stuck at the sessions, right? Because then it'll probably reverse on me. So in a situation like this, I would want to take my entry somewhere down here where there's going to be a target entry for it to reach like previous um, structure that has not been taken, like basically price is pushing to liquidity. So just a couple of things there to kind of take into consideration. I'm gonna try to get an algo entry today. I know I haven't taken algo entry in a while, but I'm gonna try to get it in today as long as the criteria is met. So the main criteria is that price needs to be in the direction of momentum already, not behind it. And I also want to trade to structure with no red flags in between. So you guys will see it when it comes up. I mean, obviously, if it comes up, I'll identify it and I'll mention it, and you guys will see me take it. But yeah, I mean, we'll kind of see how that goes. For the most part, I'm going to try to go with the trend. Obviously, for the algo entries, they're not always with the trend, but for the most part, I'm going to try to go with the trend if I can, because obviously we want to go with some sort of bias. The problem with this here, though, is that it's very bullish and it's overextended already, right? It's been bullish for since yesterday. So the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, you can see price is above the pivots. Trend meters are green. Pivots are angling to the upside. Same with the higher time frames down here. 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour price is above the pivots. Trend meters pushing to the upside, and the pivots are spread out upwards as well. So we'll see what happens here when market opens up. I'm trying to keep the criteria as minimal as possible. I mean, specifically with the algo, because the algo is well, one thing that I'm not going to take into consideration for the algo is the direction of price, right? I think we've been kind of going back and forth about this, whether the direction of price matters very much. The momentum matters more. So like I'm going to go with momentum. I don't really like if we have a buy entry in the directions for itself and the trend is bullish, then I'll go with the buy, even though the probabilities are higher for a sell. Because what I've realized is that the win rate doesn't really matter very much, right? Well, I didn't just realize it. We've been talking about this for a while. I've tried to go more so with the profit factor versus um, the win rate. As long as the win rate is like decent, like above 50, the probabilities are, I mean, they're there, right? You have an edge there. So I'm trying to like go back and review that stuff, and I started to realize that like a lot of this stuff. So I'm looking over here. This is one of the main things that really was an eye opener for me. The 710 entry, right? I was looking at the 710 entry, and there's a bunch of no entries here, but this trade actually won like every day for like the past couple like weeks or so. And the reason why the 710 entry was skipped was because we had a flickering momentum, or it was just it wasn't in the direction of the trade. But if we just went based off the algo just by itself, with momentum, we don't care about the direction. Um, that trade actually would have hit. Like I went back and I tested all the entries for this year. There's actually a lot of entries that we would have taken that would have hit as long as we went with momentum and we didn't care too much about the probabilities. I think my problem for this year is that I've been trying to kind of micromanage the position to get it like as high probability as possible. But the thing is like you can't really predict what's going to happen next, right? As long as you have some sort of edge and then there's edge in your favor, you should just take the trade. So, and since I'm doing one trade per day, I looked at a lot of these entries, like some of these didn't come up, like 659. Some of them came up, some of them didn't. But for the most part, these like 705, 710 entries, a lot of them hit. It was the direction was just throwing us off a lot because we don't really need it. It's just putting too much emphasis on something that's not super, super important. So, the strategy is based off momentum, so we should stick with momentum. We shouldn't try to force a certain direction. And if I'm going to go with momentum, I'm going to go with the trend, right? If I'm going to do that, I don't really care about like the direction that the probabilities indicate, because even if it has like, say, for example, here, I'm just going to show you one example. Like, say it has like a 20% probability for a sell side, but the trend is bearish and the momentum is bearish, it's probably going to keep moving bearish. So a lot of this stuff here, I'm trying to make it like as perfect as possible, but realistically, the max equity drawdown is probably not going to be super important because we're not going to be trading at the exact time every day. The profit factor is probably not going to matter as much either. It's just really having some sort of edge and then trading in that direction. But I think the biggest things that really matter very much are going to be structure, because the thing is, if you're trading into structure, price is going to bounce off it most likely. So. Yeah, with that being said, I did a lot of testing last night, guys. I did like a ton of testing. I went through like every algo entry for this year and I just kind of went through different models. And I realized that like the simpler it is, the better. Um, so I'm back to square one and I'm just trading the momentum algo like we did in October. And if you guys remember in October, we had like a crazy, crazy month. So like it was about time to go back to what we started with, right? Because if we go back to October, it's like, or I don't have it here right now, but yeah, basically October was like a crazy month, and we didn't have any of those extra requirements. We really just went off momentum. Yeah, Messi, yes, finally getting rid of the direction. It does not have meaningful effect. The direction match rate and the data is only 51 to 52%. And yes, we were starting to get a bit overfit territory. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 1000%. Siege, I think I've been overfitting the algo like way too much to the point um where there's just no entries, right? Like I was like, why is there no entries for the algo? I know there's trades that are hitting, but like literally every day there's just no entries. The one thing that I will take into consideration is if we have a flipping momentum on the actual candle, right? So if it's on the actual candle, I will take that into consideration. All right, if you guys are looking to take the breakout, it's looking like it's going to be a sell. So if you guys are going to jump into that, market's going to open up in about 5 seconds. Again, if you want to take it, it's going to be a sell, but for the most part, and it's already having its push right there. It's a tricky entry because the jobs data came out today was all bullish, and then now price is spiking back and forth. So there goes a breakout right there. I mean, it kind of depends on which one you use for your TP stop loss. Again, I don't like taking the breakout because stuff like this happens. It doesn't always happen this way, but it happens. It happens and when it does happen, it kind of skews you your position because you could lose either direction, buy or sell. So, all right, guys, let's see what's going on here. So, good morning, guys. Market's now open. Looks like everybody's here so far. Now let's get this going. So, I will be looking for, like I said, my algo entries. I'll be looking for possible MPS. And you guys can see I marked up some structure over here. So I have the 5 minute structure. It's basically just not untested, but for the most part, sort of untested high lows or just structure in general. I'll just call it structure. I don't care whether it's a high or a low or whatever. It's just structure to pay attention to. The reason why I have these structures here is that I'm looking for price to push to certain areas, and I'm looking for price to uh, reject off certain areas. So again, right here, I have this 5 minute structure that I drew up. You can see how price is bouncing off it. It's basically a triple top right here. So one, two, or a quadruple top, four. Um, we have a 10 minute structure, which is up here. The highest I'm going up to look at structure is going to be the 10 minute. I don't really care to go too far out because it's just kind of relevant. In a situation like that, I just wouldn't trade it. It's fine. You said he's going to buy off the self lickers. Luckily, he didn't get stopped out sitting around 1R. Nice. Yeah, Masij said it's been doing this chop on open more. Yeah, for the past week, I think it's been like this, right? The um the breakout the week before and a couple weeks before it was actually pretty decent. It was moving very consistently, like in just one direction. But over this past week, it's been very choppy. So again, looking at price right here, it's going in the direction of our bias. Our overall bias is bullish. So bullish for short-term trend, long-term trend, fundamental is bullish. Let's take a look at the other indexes. The indexes over here they're a little or no, they're all bullish for the most part. So YM, ES, NQ, they're all bullish. Gold is bearish, which is fine. We want these to go opposite anyways. This shows that it's moving efficiently. Um, so I mean the bullish confirmation or the bullish bias is going where it needs to. We'll continue to follow and we'll kind of see where this ends up going. Yeah, Masih said, well, it makes sense. The market is efficient. Once it realizes that the breakout is so profitable, it just, yeah, literally, that's like with with every strategy, right? You'll have like periods of profitability and then it starts to kind of draw down and then it picks back up. It happens with almost every strategy. That's why it's always key to have like, a little bit of a playbook to kind of identify different entries at different times. Yeah, because the breakout was killing it. Like for the past month or two, it's been like super, super effective. And then lately it's just kind of been choppy. The breakout kind of aligns with the orb. So I know a lot of you guys like to apply the orb strategy or you guys have heard of it. The orb is one of the more popular strategies that people are applying, and it works, but then it doesn't. That's kind of where the whole boom and bust um, term comes from, because people will do well for like a week or 2 weeks or a month, and then they end up blowing their accounts because they either over leverage, they over trade, and then they start doing too much. And like realistically, if you just stick to one strategy, you could do perfectly fine. It's not going to be exciting. It's going to be pretty boring. Like for example, for me, I've been looking at MPS and algo entries. I've been having entries, but they're, it's like once or twice a week. So it's just, it's just something you got to take into consideration when you're looking for, or if you're looking for entries. There's going to be periods where it's going to be profitable and consistent. There's going to be periods where it's going to be dead and just nothing there. Okay, so with this being the case, guys, we're still following through. I have a lines over here for my algo entry, so I know when to look. Um, Price is just, I mean, for the most part, it's chopping up around this area. Masisha and Shaw never bust, only boom. That's one thing too. So like I've been talking to a couple people, like there's like a couple of new people who have been reaching out to me, and they've been telling me, like, there's this guy, he reached out to me, and it was through a mutual friend. He was like, oh, I'm just like, he's been trading for a couple years and hasn't been consistent. And he was like literally about to start trading with this, but then last night he blew his account. And it was like we already I literally just talked to him about this like the day before. His problem was over trading, revenge trading. And that's the whole reason he wanted to get mentored by me, to kind of help him get past that hurdle. And he ended up blowing his account. He's like an example of, boom and bust. And you're probably here on the stream, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's the boom and bust phase happens with a lot of people. For me, I don't take a lot of trades. I'm kind of a boring trader, but in a sense, you want to keep, like, you want to be a boring trader. If you want to last in trading long term, you kind of want to be a boring trader, because like I don't remember the last time I blew an account, right? I'm not making a shit ton of profits like maybe a lot of other people over there who are like showing off online, but I also don't blow accounts. So, if you want to last in trading, you have to get over that boom and bust phase. You have to be like consistent. And I think sticking to one trade per day has like kind of helped with that a lot. Like if you have problems with blowing your account over trading and revenge trading, if you stick to just one trade per day, I know it's going to be boring, but you almost never blow your account. You also have days or weeks where there's like no entries. If you look at my stats here, like, I went through January with like almost no entries, like one entry per week, and then 2 weeks with no entries. And then last week I took one entry. This week I took one entry. Um, that should improve though. So now that I'm kind of improving with the algo for the most part, with like less and less criteria, I should have more entries per week, possibly like one per day or a couple per week. But we'll see. All right, so this is like an example of what I was talking about earlier with price being past momentum. This is another thing that I was doing a lot of testing of last night. So see how like we have a buy momentum right here, and see how the sell momentum pushes past that buy momentum. I mean, I wouldn't take this one because it's against the trend, but when you see something like this, price will tend to push further in that direction. Not specifically for this, because again, this is against the bias. But right now, see how we have a bullish bias overall? So bullish trend on the short term, long term, fundamentals, etc. What I would look for here is, if you're looking for an entry, is I would look for a buy signal to close past this line right here, right? Past this momentum. If you get price pushing out of there, it would confirm a correction to the upside, and then you can take that buy up higher. And if it shows up, I'll show you guys. I did a ton of testing yesterday. Well, not just yesterday, but over the past couple of weeks. I've been trying to figure out, the thing with trading is, and most of you guys will understand this if you guys have been trading for a while. The thing is, you never really master trading. The market's always changing, and you have to be able to adapt with it. So like I'm applying my strategies that I typically always apply, but I'm just improving with different edge, right? I'm like looking at different things. Sometimes I'm focused on structure, sometimes I'm focused on trend, sometimes I'm focused on momentum. It just kind of depends on like what's needed to be focused on for that specific time period. Right now, what I've noticed is that since we're in this chop, price is chopping up a lot. The momentum is there, but you just have to be able to identify it. And the easiest way to identify it is looking at like when momentum takes over. So I hope this happens. It's probably going to happen if we get past this area. But what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for bullish momentum to basically correct back up. And then I want to see some sort of entry happen around this area up here. I'm probably not going to be able to take it because there's red flags. So we have the London session high right here, and we have the New York session high from yesterday right here. So either way, I wouldn't be able to take any entries around this area. I would be looking to take entries actually above here. So, because like I said, I'm still looking at structure, but I don't want to take anything where there's red flags. There's a green line right there, red line right there. This is the New York high from yesterday, and this is the London high from last night. And one other thing too that I've been getting questions about is the session. So like I know some of your sessions might be different because you're on a different time zone. These are my settings for my sessions. I'm based off -8 time zone, which is Los Angeles, where I live. Um, and these are my settings for the sessions. So just depending on like what your time zone is, those are the times of the sessions. Basically, these are the sessions, and I'll paste them over here. These are the sessions, but this is based off my time zone. So if you want to copy this, you can do that, and then you just convert it to your time zone, and then you can just change it in the settings. But yeah, these are these are the session times because some people like their sessions might be a little off, and that's because like we're on different time zones and you just have it set up differently. So by default, I think it's set to like Eastern time, so I have to change the time. So like for example, here Asia's at 5 p.m. and then I have it over here at 17 because it's a 2 hour difference. It might be on Chicago time, actually. So just got to figure out like what fits your time zone there. All right, so price is pushing up. This is doing kind of like what I was just talking about, guys. So again, right here, see there's a pending buy signal right here. If this buy signal closes past that blue line, then this is likely to push up. Only problem is we have a bunch of red flags everywhere. So this is an entry that I actually would be looking to take, but the problem is there's just red flags. There's a session right there. There's another session right there. Not exactly the best area to be looking for entry. We also have a structure right here. This is a 1 minute structure. It's not super important, but I'll just mark it up right now to have it there. But again, so like I said, that buy signal, if that buy signal closes above that area right there, that blue line, this is ideally a confirmation of a continuation back up. We already have trends, so we have like we have things to look for there. And here's like another check. I created another checklist. It's not like super important, but this is another list of it's like a grading scale. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of testing. Every day I'm doing testing. I'm trying to improve my edge as much as possible. This is like an entry checklist. Like if the trend is available, then you just put one. So like bullish trend, right? If there's momentum in your direction, it's a +1. There's a price rejection off like structure, like the pivots or normal price structure, that's +1. If there's a break of structure, that's another +1, right? So right here, if you have all of these checklists, you have a +4. And then if there's candle too big, it's a -1. If it's near a red flag, it's another -1. And then you kind of just do the total. So if you have +4 -2, that's 2. You have to have at least 3 for it to be a good entry. So if you guys want to copy this checklist here, you guys can do that. It's not like super important, but I think this is like a good thing to just kind of check off just to make sure you have like a quality entry. If you have an entry already set up, like for example, if I have an algo entry coming up, I would just check to see if the trend's with it, if there's momentum in that direction. Obviously, the momentum is going to be there because that's part of the strategy. Vice versa, break of structure. If you're doing a high-low entry, this would be your catalyst. So you'd have to have that there. And these are just things to look at. So, and then obviously when you have things here that you want to avoid, it's basically structured to where you can't have two bad things, right? You can't have a red flag and a big candle. You can't have a big candle and low volatility. You can't have price structure and stuff like that. So it kind of just checks the list off, basically like a final checklist before you take an entry, and it'll help you determine, whether it's a quality entry or not. So, all right. Again, if I find anything new that I'm implementing, I'll let you guys know. Price number broken close above that area, so there's nothing there. I mean, right now, it's a choppy market, right? There's price isn't going out of the structure here. So it's not a good area to trade to begin with. Price is now breaking past structure. So if you wanted to take this as a high-low scalp, guys, so if this candle breaks and closes past this line right here, again, if you look at my entry checklist, yeah, man, I hate this like text box. So like again, if you wanted to take this as a high-low scalp, you're like, okay, it's trending in the direction, like somewhat, it's starting to become bearish. The momentum is there. Price rejection and rejected off this structure. Break of structure right there. So you have a +4 right now in the entry checklist. There's going to be a couple of things here though. So red flag, obviously there's a sessions right here. That's going to be a -1, and then probably low volatility. So this would be like maybe a +2 entry. So it's not going to be a good one, but it's kind of checking off the boxes right there. So this would be like an okay entry, but not a good one. So if you wanted to take that like as a high-low scalp, you could have taken that right there. Maybe for like smaller target or something like that, 40-20, right? I wouldn't necessarily take it, like I said, it needs to have at least three. So the red flags, there's a red flag because of the sessions and then also low volatility. So see how this wasn't a +3 type trade? It wasn't a good trade. Like it wouldn't be considered like an A trade or a B trade. It'd be more like a C- or a D trade. And that would prevent you from getting caught up in this stop right there, right? You just want to like be able to like put trades in a situation that that you're going to be confident about taking. So, all right, with that being said, guys, there's still no entries for me right now. The trend here is more so mixed. It's not really bullish anymore on the lower time frames. You can see prices kind of chopping up in between. It's basically faking out outside the structure. So price pushed out over here, faked out, pulled back into the range. Same with this over here. Price pushed up into this range, faked out, and then pulled back out. All right, we have a buy signal here, which is pending. This is going back to what I was talking about earlier. So if the buy signal right there closes, it's likely to push up higher. The problem here is that we have a bunch of red flags here. We have the London high, we have the New York high over here from yesterday. And then we just have a bunch of price structure. So we got like structure right here, we got structure right here, we got structure right here. This type of market is just not a good area to be trading, guys. Like right here, it's just going back and forth, back and forth. It's not a great place to be trading. Like for example, for me, in order for me to take a buy here, I really need price to push out of this area. Like I would need to take buys up here and then vice versa. I would need to take sells down here. I wouldn't really trade in this middle area because there's nothing going on. The ATR is currently at 36 right now, so there is volatility in volume. It's just flat market though. Nice. So Masih took the MPS and he took a lower low reversal. Nice. CJ said, what do you usually do when NinjaTrader is unable to connect to a remote server? Yesterday, I flushed my DNS and that worked, but today it's not working. Should I wait it out? I would probably wait it out, CJ. I haven't had that issue before, but I've heard of it, and it's more of like an internal issue. I mean, you could always message NinjaTrader. They're probably not going to get back to you till like maybe a little later, like an hour or two. It'll be too late. But yeah, I would just wait it out for the most part. That's the thing with NinjaTrader. If you message them for help, unless you have someone specific, like for me, I know the specific people at NinjaTrader, so I email them directly. So I'll email the support and then I'll also CC like whoever the head of that department is. Um, NinjaTrader knows me. They know me from before with for like every time I complain, it's like I take notes on who's in like who's running stuff at specific well NinjaTrader of course the company because they'll CC them on the email and I'll save their email. So whenever I have a specific question, I CC them. So like if the support doesn't get to me, um, their boss will see the email and they'll get back to me directly. All right, so we got price pushing down right here. There's nothing so far. I'm just kind of waiting for something here to come up, but there's just nothing here. The buy signal never closed, so there's nothing there. Price is now breaking below structure again right here. Again, if you're looking to take that high-low scalp, like an actual high-low scalp, will be down here. There's just two big red flags, though. Obviously, price is in a choppy market right here. The market structure or the price structure is not great. And then also we have red flags down below. So it's just tricky. iPhone said they know you very well. I mean, yeah, because if you guys remember, like last year I complained to NinjaTrader because like they keep disconnecting. So I would always complain to them. And that's how they figured out that I was running a hedge fund, but like unlicensed before. And that's why I had to go and get licensed and register as a professional trader and stuff like that. Because they basically forced me. They were like, oh, you can't manage money. It's legal. I was like, okay, whatever. So that's like how the whole hedge fund thing kind of came about. Last year I didn't get caught, but they basically because there's exemptions. Like if you're trading for like less than 15 people, you can trade without a license. And I was doing that, but then they're like, you're trading too much money, so you have to actually get licensed. I'm like, oh, whatever. Yeah, when it comes to money, I'm gonna turn into a Karen, a male Karen for sure. Especially with Ninja, because that's the thing that I hate about Ninja. It's just the connection issues, right? A lot of you guys have ran into that. If you're trading a lot of accounts, it becomes really annoying because you'll have like a connection issue and it'll disconnect off like some of the accounts, but some of the accounts are still running, and then it just totally messes it up. All right, so this is a high-low scalp, the one I was just talking about, guys. Again, right here. So this is the entry that which would have came up. Let me go check out the criteria again. Let's check out the criteria over here again. So I just want to show you guys, the entry checklist. You could use this for like any strategy. You don't have to use it for a specific one, but so bearish trend right here, not a very strong trend, but it is a bearish trend. You can see prices below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. There is momentum there for a sell momentum. Price rejection, you can see how price came down, came up, rejected off this structure. So that's +3. Break of structure, obviously the entry happened right there off the lower low. That's a +4. So you have basically all of the entries checklists that are for the trade enabled. So you have 4 +4 there. Now what you'd be looking for next is the stuff to avoid the entry. So like for example, the candle here was pretty big, so that'd probably be a -1, and then red flag over there. Obviously, there's a sessions that'd be a -2. Price kind of broke out of this range, so the low volatility is not relevant at this point. And then price structure, there's no price structure in the way, right? The next structure is down here. So that being the case, there was basically a +1, 1, candles too big, -1, candles red flag, low volatility 0, price structure 0. So this is basically a +2 trade, not a great trade, but an okay trade. So you guys can see how this kind of helps. It just depends on like what you guys are looking for your entry. A lot of the part of these checklists are going to be automatically checked off in a sense. Because some of the entries, the catalyst is based off some of this criteria, right? Some of them are based off the momentum signal. Some of them are based off price rejection if you're doing like a V1, V2, V3 variation, break of structures if you're doing like a high-low scalp. Basically, you're compiling confluences on top of confluences or strategy on top of strategy. So yeah, this right here was a high-low scalp. It was a full TP, not a great trade, maybe like a C plus type trade because it was a +2. So for those of you who are looking for riskier trades, I mean, there's an entry right there. Like if you really need to take a trade for the day, there's entries to be found. They're just not going to be great trades. All right. We're getting close to the algo entry over here at 659. So for 659, I want price to come down here for me to take the sell. I need it to be like down around this area. The issue is that we have structure here now. I don't really want structure to be down here. Like I said, I want price to push past the area and then push down lower, but problem is we have a lower low here now. So this might mess with my entry a little bit. unless we break past it. So we break past it right here, and then I can take my entry lower. But then, so this is kind of there's going to be, it's just not a good area. There's a lot of price structure here to like be careful for. So for example, if I'm going for 60 points, there's going to be the Asia low right here. So either way, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough entry for me to take. If anything, I could probably get into it. Maybe once it reaches 40 points, I'll move stop loss and profit. And then I could ride it to 60. But if I need to pull out early, it'll just pull me out in profit. We'll see. I got to think about it. We got a couple minutes until then. 6:59. So we got about 6 minutes until then. So we'll see. Let's see. Message said shoot so close to stop loss. I'm assuming you're in a buy right now, right, Message? Oh, you're in a sell. Oh, then you should be good, right? I think if it holds down here, it'll probably keep dropping lower. We'll see. Prices at the sessions right now, again, this is another reason why I don't like trading at the sessions and why I consider a red flag. Um, if price is past it, then I think it's okay. But if price needs to get past it, it's going to be a problem because it could tend to bounce off it. But like, for example, if this here closes below it, then I think price can continue dropping lower from where it's currently at. All right. So got nothing here right now. We have some buy momentums that are pending. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have an intro here at 6:59 because we're sitting at the sessions right now. Price did close below it, so that's a good sign. Thing is, price is probably gonna keep sitting around this area before it breaks out. It's either gonna break out below or break out above. Let's see, CJ. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you complain to them, CJ, it's a ninja, they're gonna ask you for your logs. You don't really want to send them your logs. That's how they found out I was trading so many accounts. I sent them the logs and they're like, yeah, bro, you're trading like 70 accounts. Like, the fuck? I was like, well, some of them were like prop accounts. And then they're like, oh, well, it looks like you're trading a bunch of live accounts. And I'm like, well, duh. Obviously I am. So that, yeah, they just give you a hard time. If you're trading a bunch of accounts, they start to give you a hard time because then they're looking for something to blame. Like if there's an issue with NinjaTrader, they're like, oh, well, this account probably triggered something or whatever. Um, Usually a lot of these brokers they don't want to take responsibility if like something happens on their like with their platform. They try to look for something to point it towards, like, oh, you're trading like 20 accounts. Well, yeah, obviously there's gonna be issues because your third party platform copier messed it up or whatever. There's always some sort of the blame that goes around. The blame will get pushed to somewhere else. All right, so like I said earlier, guys, I said if price breaks and closes below the sessions right here, it'll probably drop further. And that's exactly what happened here, right? Price came down lower. Um, this price structure is gone. If price drops any lower from where it's currently at, the target area is going to be down here, right? This is going to be the target area for price to continue dropping lower and lower from. Um, we have a possible algo entry coming up right here at 6:59. The problem with this is that it's going to be right at the sessions, like I said. So I don't think this is going to be one that I would take. This is obviously one of the big things that I try to pay attention to is red flags, right? For the algo entries. I'll follow it. The 6:59 is going to come up, but I'm probably not going to get into it because we're getting too close to the sessions below. Nice. So Masij is done. He took 3 back-to-back wins. And he had a great day. Yeah, definitely, Masij. Awesome day there. All right, so we'll see what happens here, guys. Again, if you want to take this algo entry, there's an algo entry coming up at 6:59. It's for a sell. It actually lines up with the direction. The main issue here with this, though, is that it's going to have to eat into the sessions right here. So not exactly the not exactly the trade I would be looking to get into. But if you guys want to take it, I'll follow it for you guys right here. I mean, if you go for a 40-20, you might be able to take it, but the ATR is kind of high. It's like 37. So I don't really want to have a super, super tight stop loss. All right, guys. So looking at this right here so far, this is going to set up for a possible algo entry. Again, we'll follow it. I'm not going to take it, but I'm going to follow it here. I'll watch it. If I want to get in late, I might jump in late. I just want to see how it reacts to this area. Like if it sits there, if it moves, if it pulls back a little bit. If it pulls back, I could probably put like a limit order and just wait if it comes back down. Okay, so there's the algo entry right there. Not in the position. Big spike right there initially. So we'll follow right here. Again, I'm not in the position right here. Like I said earlier, I didn't want to take it because of like where it was currently at. It was like below this area. So, I mean, this thing looks like it could be a good trade. Let's take a look at the checklist again, right? We have the trend, it's bearish. We have momentum, which is bearish. We have price rejection over here off the pivot. So price has been coming down and bouncing off the pivots. And then we have break of structure, which was right here as well. So this trade actually looks pretty good. Some of the red flags here that I would say are probably, I mean, the main one is going to be the sessions that was down here. There's no price structure. I mean, there is price structure target down here. Um, yeah, no, it looks like a pretty good trade. I think this would probably be like maybe a B class trade, a B to C class trade. Actually, there's price structure here, so I just realized there's a lower low. I don't like trading where there's a price structure that's kind of stuck right here. So if we had this right here, what I would want to see here for me personally is I'd like to see a retracement and then come down, right? Because I would want to have my target like basically at this lower low. So this is actually a trade I wouldn't take because, like I said, I don't want to trade where my target has to be past the structure. What I would like to see here is if price retraced up, like say for example, pushed up to this area and then it came back down, I would be able to hit my target because my target area would be the structure right here, right? The problem with this here right now is that price is already at the structure, right? At this lower low. So it doesn't really have anywhere to go unless it breaks past the structure there. So like ideally what I'd like to see here is if price was to break out of this structure, break and retest, and then come down to this structure down here, because this would be the target area for me, right? That's why price structure, I think right now, this type of market that we're in, price structure is very important. So like with this being said, see how price is coming down. If it closes below here, this is a great sign. If it closes below here, then I think price is going to push down to this lower structure down here. And it's looking great. There's the algo entry. It's currently running almost to full TP for target. Again, like I said, this was like more of a B to C grade trade, not an A trade or A plus trade. Because there was like it became a +3 type trade or maybe around there. So algo entry is running good. Let's see, my entry checklist. It's about to hit target. I think it's going to hit. It's going to close below here, so I think it's going to push down further to hit target. So again, we had trends, that's a +1, momentum +1, price structure +1, or price rejection. And then there was a break of structure after, but that wasn't necessarily there yet. Or I mean, I guess technically. Yeah, I guess technically we could put no, because it didn't hold below that area. So it did break structure right here, but it didn't hold below it. So the entry was right here. If it was closed below this point, then yes, that'd be the case. But this would be a zero. This would be a zero. This would be a zero. This would be a zero, and then this would be a one. So this trade will actually be a +2 trade. So like I said, it's a B to C trade, not necessarily an A trade. Because in order for it to be an A trade, I need at least three. And then for it to be an A plus, it'd be like +4. And there you go, full TP on the algo. So if you guys caught that trade right there, nice work. Like I said, I had the algo entry already lined up at 659. Yeah, so that's that right there. Like I said, I'm only taking one trade per day, so I'm kind of focused on like the very, very high probability entries. Like I'm looking for an A to A plus trade. There's another algo entry coming up right here at 7:05, but this is for sure going to be a red flag 'cause it's right at the sessions. So yeah, this is going to be another like maybe C trade if you guys want to take it. It's going to come with about 2 minutes. I'm still looking for MPSPAs. There's no MPSPA here, of course, but if it comes up, I'll maybe jump into that. All right, so this was a 1 minute structure. We have another 1 minute structure right here. It's not established, but pending. This thing's a little messy. All right, so this right here is going to be the algo entry for 7:05 for anybody who's looking to jump into that. Structure is broken. All right, so here's Masij's profits for the day. As you guys know, Masij is just what he's doing is he's taking all of my entries, basically all of my strategies, and it's just all automated. So for today, he's at 20,700 across 6 accounts right here. He made 3,450 per account. His total P&L right now is pretty high. I think you're above 100 now. You should be. So nice work right there, Masij. 114. So Masij for the year so far, I think he's up 114,000. Because he started with 50K, now he's up to like 78K, almost 80K. So amazing work right there, Masij. Yeah, February 11th, bot took 2 MPSs in one lower low reversal, 3 back-to-back wins, and he recovered his losses from Tuesday. So Tuesday over here, he had a small loss, negative 2,000. And today he had pretty big win right here, 20,000. So amazing work right there, Masij. I'll talk to Masij a little later. Maybe we're getting close to the time to release it to certain people. I'll probably start running it myself because we'll have to see how consistent it is and stuff, especially when like other people are using it. But yeah, definitely Masij. Super, super great work right there. All right, so again, like I said, guys, there's the algo entry, which is currently running right now for the sell. It's right here at 7:05. It's pushing through. We got two algo entries running alongside each other. Again, it was at the session, so this is considered red flag for me, but it's currently pushing through pretty nicely. We have another entry which is going to come up right here at 710. The problem with the 710 one is that we don't really, or actually we do have structure. There's just a lot of red flags here. As you guys can see, there's a Asia low, there's a London low, and there's a New York low down here. So it's just a bunch of structure or manipulated areas or possible manipulated areas. It's just previous session lows. So we're currently at the Asia low. If it drops lower, this is the London low. And if it drops lower here, this is going to be the New York low. So this is hard for me to take entries within this area because it might chop up around this point. Like you can see right now for 7:05, it's currently chopping up. Ideally, I want to take my entries before 7:30. We're getting kind of closer to that point, so it's going to be a little tough here. But this entry is running right now. This is a 7:05. So Daniel's question right there. is when you guys release it, do you think I could pay you to have a version for it to be able to run on Quant Tower? Uh, it's like the webhook, so I don't know if it's gonna. Um, Quant Tower is like a trading platform, Siege. How so to make so for me to understand? So you're doing a webhook, and it sends the email or whatever the hook to like TradeStation, right? Yeah, because yeah, it needs to have some type of API or webhook. Because I'm not sure how Quant Tower works. Well, Quant Tower is a platform. What's the actual broker, Daniel? Because it's still Tradevate, right? So if it's still Tradevate, I think it should work because the webhook would send the signal to Tradevate. Yeah, yeah. Well, which broker are you actually gonna be using, Daniel? Because the platform doesn't matter. It's not gonna send to the platform. It's gonna send to the actual broker. If it's Tradevate, you should be fine because you're in Rhythmic. Okay. Yeah, I don't use Rhythmic. I know Rhythmic had a lot of issues before, so I didn't like using it. Um, yeah, okay, so Masi's gonna look into it. All right, guys. So both of the algo entries hit full TP today. This was the 659, and then we have the 705, both full TPs. We have the 710, which is coming up right now. The problem with the 710 is again, we're at the red flag area. So I don't think this is one that I can take. It just doesn't meet my A plus criteria here. Um, man. I kind of wish I'd. So this is one thing that I've been looking at over the past couple days, yeah, basically when I was testing the algo entries, I was trying to determine whether I wanted to use the sessions or not. It's touchy because sometimes the price breaks through the sessions and it doesn't really bounce off it, but other times it bounces directly off it, right? So I'm going to use this trade here as an example to see if how price reacts to the sessions. It's touchy because sometimes like you want to ignore the sessions, and sometimes you're like the sessions are super important. So I think I'm gonna stick to like still using the sessions, but the but I'll just take it with discretion. Yeah, Messi should take him, Sean. The back test is good without taking into account the sessions. That's how you have to think about it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Masish. Because initially when we were applying the algo, I wasn't really using these confluences, right? With the sessions. Maybe market structure or price structure would be okay for price to target, but yeah, the sessions I think we can maybe disregard. And today was a good example for that, right? I think today was a great example to see. And if price breaks through here, this is going to be another confirmation that the sessions don't really matter for the algo. The sessions matter for other strategies, though. So if you're applying the MPS or the high-low scalp, it's going to matter. But for the algo, not so much. Because if the momentum's there, it pushes right through the session. Like it disregards it completely. And right here again, it's pushing right through the session. And the target area is going to be this lower structure right here, this 10-minute structure below. All right, full TP right there. Okay, well, F me then. I'm glad you guys took those trades. So all of the algo entries. So this is what I was just talking about, guys. The algo entries, they're hitting. It's just we've been skipping them a lot because we've been following like the direction, which is not really, it's not important. Like the 705 here was for a buy, but all of these won. So they're every algo entry today won. That's crazy. It's a 6-hour day for the algo. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm feeling a lot more confident with the algo now because I've kind of just disregarded the direction. I think, yeah, a lot of this stuff, I've been overfitting it. So like the direction is going to be kind of disregarded. The max equity drawdown is going to be disregarded. The profit factor is okay. Basically, I'm just going to be looking at like, so for example, if we have a 50 or 55% probability of it winning, but the profit factor is like at 1, then it's not good. But if it's above 1.5, then I'll take it into consideration. Okay, cool. So with that being the case, the algo was very spot on today. Yeah, Masij said algo on top is always, we just got to take them. That's what we've been saying for months. Yeah, I know. The problem with me is that I've been a little too conservative and cautious with my entries because with the hedge fund, there's just a lot more pressure on me. Um, if I was just trading my accounts, I would take these algos, no questions asked, right? I would just jump into them. But the problem is I have so many, like, I'm trading real funds. So I always think twice about the entry. The thing is, we just have to take these entries. We have the data. The data shows that the algo works. It's just we have to take them. Yeah, because I'm managing like, man, it's crazy. Like prop firms are okay because you blow a prop firm account and you don't owe that money. But when you're trading real funds, like I'm trading real cash. I'm trading like millions of like real money. So if I lose money, that's actual money that's being lost. It's not prop for money. It's not fake money. Um, and the thing is, I have to worry about getting fills too, because so I'm just looking back over here. I just want to see if my fills would have gotten filled. So actually, all these entries here would have filled because what I would have done is I would have put a limit order. So for example, this candle closed at like 235. My limit order would probably be like 240. So it pulled back a little bit. It probably would have filled my orders. And same with these over here. Went to a little bit of drawdown, but it would fill my orders if it pulled back a little bit. Um, Okay, well, I feel more confident with the algo now that we've kind of figured out what's important, what's not. Um, I'll be right back, guys. One second. I gotta my Alina's awake. So let me step away for 1 second. I'm gonna go put her back down. Or I might just bring her Hey guys, I'm back. And I've got to run. One second. My daughter, she is rolling. Put her back down. I'm just gonna bring her on the stream with me. I'm gonna go get her real quick and I'll be right back, guys. One second. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's see. I guess I'm gonna be I got trade standing today. It's all good. Okay, so good thing I got the standing desk. Automate everything. Let's see. All right. So let me see where we're at so far. So all the algo entries pretty much hit for today already if you guys took them. So we had three algo entries on the 60/30. One at 659 full TP right there, 705 full TP right there, 710 full TP right there. I think there's a couple other algo entries, but 756. I'm not gonna take that one. It's not a target entry. I mean, it's still there, but it's not a target entry. Looking over here at the 40/20. Let me go and check real quick. So I don't think there's anything else that came up. So I didn't really miss anything while I stepped away for the previous couple of minutes. Um, Let me move this chair. Chair's in the way. Yeah, one day out of the week, I'm gonna have my daughter because my wife's not, she's doing stuff. It's just one day out of the week, so it's not a big deal. Um, Usually she sleeps through, I'm able to time her sleep pretty well, so she like sleeps right through our live session. But today she's just, I didn't time it well enough. It's okay. I could just trade standing on days like this. But anyways, so looking at this over here. There's a buy signal that this isn't going to be an MPSPA. The reason for there not being an MPSPA here is because it's an invalid signal. So what I would look for here is if you guys are still looking to take entry, like I said before, if the sell signal closes below this line right here, like below this blue line, it's probably going to drop further. The issue here that I would say is that we have structure right here, right? It's a price structure. So just another reminder, guys, there's these red boxes that I drew all throughout the chart. This is price structure. So like I'll put like the time frame of like where the price structure is. The time frame doesn't really matter very much because price structure is price structure. On my cap lock button. Okay, there we go. Um, so the thing with these price structures is that they're mainly meant for targets. So like if price is going to push that way, we're looking for price to get to that point. And this is where it becomes a little bit of a problem because if you're looking to take a sell right here, like we just talked about, there's not very much room for it to get to, right? Because the price structure is right there. If your target 60 points, you might be able to get down a little lower. But the problem with this is that once price gets to this lower structure, it's probably going to, okay, baby. Oh man, she's having a little explosion right now. I just changed your diaper. Feel it. But yeah, like I said, so if you're looking to take a sell here, basically you want it to close below this momentum. And the problem is there's price structure here already. So there's going to be a little bit of a problem for it because if it gets to this point, it might bounce off the structure, right? So like I talked about earlier, we have like an entry checklist that I kind of put together. I'm gonna have to step away again for a second, guys. Sorry. She just she had a little accident. Not accident. She had a blow up. Anyways, the trend over here, like we talked about, the sell signal never closed, so there's no entry there yet. But if the sell signal did close, we'd have trend because price is bearish below the pivots, trend meter is red, momentum's there. It would have been there if we had that sell signal. We had price rejection right here off the pivots. You can see our price came down, bounced up off this lower high right there. It bounced directly off the pivots. And then we'd have break of structure, right? If price was to push down lower. So this would probably be like maybe a B to C trade, not an A plus, because now that I'm looking at it, there's low volatility. Well, I mean, this price structure here is kind of just very choppy. And then there's also price structure right here. So for the situation, there's would be +4 for the trend momentum price rejection break of structure, but then it'd be -2 because of low volatility, just choppiness right here. And there's price structure that's too close. The thing with this here is, and I've been talking about this, is that I try to get my entries in before 7:30. Ideally before 7:15. 7:15 is going to be like the prime time, like 6:30 to 7:15. That's like when Masij is looking for the entries as well. But for me, the reason why I try to get in before 7:30 is because look at what happens at 7:30. See how price just gets super flat and it doesn't go anywhere? We took a trade on Monday, but we had to move my stop loss and profit. You can see I made like really, really minimal profit on Monday because of the chop. We were stuck in this position for like 14, 20 minutes and it just didn't go anywhere. So if you guys do want to take a trade right here, I would say take it with caution because there's a there's a high probability that it's not going to go anywhere. It might just sit within this range for a bit. So give me 1 second, guys. I gotta go change Alina real quick. Um, let's see, she should turn around, trying to let her take the trade. I know if I turn around, she's gonna grab the keyboard. She knows what we're doing here. But let me step away for 1 second again, guys. Sorry for going in and out, but I'll be right back in 1 second. So I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, I am back. And it's pretty bad. It's a blowout. Um, yeah, anyways, there's nothing that happened since I left, so you guys didn't miss out on anything. There's no sell momentum. I left my chart open here so you guys were if you were waiting for it. It didn't come up yet. We have price structure, like I said, after 7:30, price gets pretty flat. So right now it is ranging, consolidating around this area. Not much to work with. We have a pending sell momentum which has been coming up. So let me see. So we had a sell momentum which started to come up. Let me see where it started to kick. Hey, no, Cody, chill out, buddy. Damn, man, I got like two kids in right now. Cody, come on, go to your bed. No, go up there. 1 second, guys. Damn, bro, I got a crippled dog. I'll put you up, but don't move, okay? Wait. Ah, all right, Cody, sit. Ah, man, daddy daycare today. I got a crippled dog, but so Cody's better than you can't really see him. He's in his office chair. He was trying to jump on his office chair, if you guys remember. He used to sit behind me, but he's crippled right now. So this guy is not supposed to be jumping. So I had to carry him and bring him up there. So much stuff going on. Anyways, back to what I was saying earlier. Price is going back and forth. I was trying to see where the momentum was coming down from. And here comes Alina. She's gonna try to get on the keyboard. Um, Sell momentum was at 3,737. So there's opportunities right here to get into this sell, which started right here at 737, 734 actually. So 732, 734, 737. I think right here around 734, 737, this is where the entry would probably be taken. So if you were to take this is the version 2 of the algo that I was talking about over the past couple of days. It's actually it might have gotten stopped out because of the chop, but when you get flickering momentum like this in the direction, obviously, hey, what's up? Lena's just staring at me. She's listening to me give my analysis. But anyways, you don't really want to trade it in this type of market where it's going back and forth. But if price was moving, so say for example, we do have a structure right here. Say if it was moving down below like this, you guys are gonna hear it. Alina, she talks a lot now, so she's gonna mumble and and say stuff. She tries to get out of her carry. You can see her arms. She's uh she's a little scared. Come on, you gotta keep your hands inside. You can say hi to everybody. But anyways, like I was saying, price here is kind of chopping up back and forth, so you probably would want to wait for the sell signal to come up. It's actually coming up right now. This is going to be a triple confluence probably. So if you guys really want to take this is going to be a triple confluence. It didn't close, but it was about to. There was a sell signal right there, which is pending. Bearish momentum. There's no red flags down here. The sessions they're long gone. Previous sessions were up here. So this is the New York low, London low, Asia low. And then we have price coming down below here further. And there's just no price structure below here. So this is where it becomes a little bit of a problem. If you're looking to take trades, like I said before, I like there to be price structure below for me to know where I'm going to target for. But right here, there's just no, it's in an open area. The farthest low goes at 10-minute. I guess if you really wanted to go back that far, there's technically price structure down here, but it's pretty far off. So now that I got price structure right there, let's go back to the 1 minute. Actually, there's a lot of space here. Yeah, baby. She's just she's interested in what we're talking about. But anyways, like I said, there's a sell signal here. There's price structure below. If you really want to ride this down, you could ride it down. Price will probably push down to this lower target. It's not something I would personally look to take, but if you did want to take it, I mean, this is a possible opportunity here. There's a sell signal that kept pending as price continued to drop lower. There's a sell signal here that broke and closed below it. So again, if you look at the checklist of entries or for entry checklist, There's actually a lot of criteria here that are met. This would be a pivot scalp entry. If you guys are curious what type of entry this would have been, this would be a pivot scalp entry. So prices below the pivots, the trends there. There's a bearish momentum. That would be the pivot scalp entry or pivot scalp criteria. There's a price rejection right here off this higher high. So price came down below, rejected off that structure. And there was a break of structure below here as well off these lower lows. So with that being the case, you have a +4 there for checklist. And then looking over here at the criteria, the candle's not super big, so that's a 0. There's no red flags, so that's a 0. Low volatility, that's going to be a 1 because it's pretty low volatility right now. And then there's price structure below, which is fine, that's a 0. So this is a +3 type entry. This is actually an A-class entry. It'd be like a B plus to an A class entry because it's all met. If it's an A plus, we'd have a +4, but this is a +3, so it's pretty close enough. The only problem here that I would say is you probably have to hold on to this position for a while. Let's see. This entry was at 748. So why do you have me log into Apex? It's weird. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, 748. I'm gonna go here and just see what the criteria is for that. 748 with momentum, it's usually not a good entry. So like now that I've looked at this here, I'm like, all right, this is probably not a good entry to take. Maybe. If you look over here, the trades that come up at 748, they're usually losses. So if you look over here, it's not really that great. It has a 10% probability of it winning. Profit factor is very low. And it loses for sell 7 out of 7 times. So this trade over here, I actually wouldn't take this one. The checklist is good if you're just taking it as a pivot scalp, but then looking over here at the algo, it actually is not a good entry. This is why it's important that you kind of like tie in different confluences, because although it looks like a good entry, the data here shows that it never hits for a sell, at least for the past 20 days. So this trade should be, or it would have been a skip, because the numbers are just, they're not there. And it looks like, yeah, so it's spot on. It identified that loss before we even would have wanted to take it. So this is why the algo is important. If you guys have access to the algo, if you ever take any entry, I would highly recommend running your entry through the algo to see what the probabilities are. If the probabilities aren't great, then it's probably best to just not take the trade. So, all right, I'm gonna take that off right there. Let me check the chat real quick. Let me just scroll down a little bit. Yeah, Steven said being a parent is a lot of work. Jesus said Daddy Sean's in full effect. I know. So like now that we have this here, I think it's a lot better for us to well for me obviously to get my entry in before 7 o'clock because you guys can see once 7:30 hit right here, we get in this like very, very choppy market. And it's just going to keep going back and forth. I mean, if price does break and retest off this area, it may continue dropping to this structure. But, like I said earlier, it's just if you run it through the algo, it shows that it has literally 0 entries at 1 for sells. So the sells here wouldn't be great. And then the buys here weren't even great either. It won 2 out of the previous 11 trades. So 15% probability for buys, 0% probability for sells. I wouldn't take those edges. I wouldn't take those odds for this specific trade. Um, and yeah, so like Masish said, yes, this is what we need. More confluence, not more restrictions to overfit. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Masish. So I think we're in a good place right now with the algo because we're kind of like the pieces are starting to fall together. Me and Masish, we've been trying to like crack this code for a while. The thing is, I feel like I made it worse by looking at too many confirmations. Confluences are good, but confirmations are not. Um, because before what we did is like I was like, okay, we need to have a certain like profit factor of over 2, and then we need to have max equity drawdown of a certain amount. But realistically, it's not really that necessary. Um, So I will continue looking here for entries. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat and ask away. Yeah, there's nothing here for us to take at the moment. I saw your message and yeah, Missy said, "Oh, she looks so much like you." Yeah, she's my little twin. It's funny. She has like we have the same traits. As if it's crazy. If you guys saw, I don't know if I have a picture of me on here, but I have a baby picture of me that I've shared, and she looks exactly like me. It's crazy how genetics work. You know how genetics work because like it's different when you see other people talking about it. When you see it for yourself, it's crazy. She's like a little mini me, literally mini version of me. Anyways, back to the chart. So it's 7:55 right now. We have one algo entry coming up at 7:56. Not one I would necessarily look to take, but the probabilities are there. So I'll still look at it. Again, it has a 50% probability. We just want it to be above 50. Um, the buys and sells are pretty much even. They're around 44 to 54, so they're still profitable either way. It just doesn't have above a 2.0 profit factor, which again is not a big deal. It's actually going to be for a buy right here. Let me go and see if there's structure to look at. Okay, so we have a buy entry, which is going to come up pretty soon. Let me go here real quick. 7:56. Let's just check the probabilities again. Okay, so it has a 50% probability. I don't really care about the individual direction, but it's decent. It's 44%. So with that being the case, this here could be, I mean, it could be a pretty decent trade. There's a structure right here at this higher height. This is where it might be a problem. You might, if you want to take this trade, I would say I'm gonna clean this structure up because that structure is done with. So we do have a 1 minute price structure right here. I would say if it gets close to the price structure, move your stop loss and profit. But if you want to hold on to it, you can still do that as well. So this is the algo entry for 7:56. Again, let's take a look at the checklist. So let me take this off. There's no trend there because price is bearish. There is momentum, so that's one. There is a price rejection. Not really. There's no price rejection there. And is there a break of structure? There's no break of structure. So this is like a D grade trade, guys. I don't think this is a super great trade. Actually, this is not a good trade at all. Just basing off the confluences here, it's actually a zero because there's no trend. You're going against the trend, which is fine. You can go against the trend. I'm just saying like this, this is gonna be very tricky. So it's going against the trend. There is momentum because that's what the trade's based off. There's no price rejection right here off the lower low. It just there's no double body, there's no double wick. It just established a floor and then it pushed up. So I wouldn't consider that a price rejection. There's no break of structure here. The structure is going to be up here at this higher high. So price hasn't broken structure since coming up. The candle is not big. There's no red flags in the area. There is low volatility because price is currently in a chop right now. Um, and that's about it. So with that being said, there's just that's all that there is that's available right now. This is an algo entry, so there's there's probability in its favor. The thing is, I don't know if it'll reach the full 60 points. 40 points might be where you want to start moving your stop loss and profit if you did get into this trade. I'll put a line right there. So maybe once it reaches that 40-point mark, maybe move your stop loss and profit, or if you're not comfortable with it, just don't take the entry. I wouldn't feel comfortable with this trade here. It's too late in the session, and then also the checklist just it didn't grade it a good entry in a sense. I would still like it to hit though. If it hits, great, because I wouldn't want to fade my own algo entry. I want the algo entry to hit, but I know that it's a low probability trade. Yeah, yeah. You want me to talk about your day? And she loves talking, guys. It's funny. It's like she's only 6 months or she's 7 months now, but she loves talking. It's she doesn't stop talking. So if I ever bring her on camera, you'll hear. I don't know if you guys can hear her mumbling. but she always says dada. That's her favorite word. That's her first word and her favorite thing to say. Dada. Yeah? Yeah, you want to hang out with dada? She wants to hang out with Cody. I wish I could turn the camera over here, but I can't. Cody's knocked out right now in his office chair. Let's see. Daniel said that algo entry aligns with the current MPSPA, MPPA. Okay. Yeah. Steven said the dada strategy. Actually, you're right. Yeah, it actually lines up pretty good. So this actually is a pretty good entry overall because it lines up with the MPSPA. There's a lower low right here. I just noticed that right now. Thanks, Daniel, for mentioning it. Damn, I sneezed and I scared her. But anyways, let me look at this real quick as the MPSPA. So lower low, buy signal, retracement, confirmation. The MPSPA started from right here. So it's running right now. This is actually, so now that Daniel has mentioned that, I think this is actually now it's turned into a better trade than I thought. Because I didn't realize there was an MPSPA that was running alongside it. This again is another confluence. If you have an algo entry and it runs alongside another high probability strategy, and there you go, it's going to push up right now. I just don't like trading this late in the session. Yeah, Daniel said the volatility is so low right now, though. Yeah, I don't think I would trade this late in the session because I mean it's 8 o'clock right now, so this is past our trading session time. So it's looking good. If you guys want to move your stop loss and profit, it's already at 40 points, if not more. So you could probably, if you want to move your stop loss and profit, you could move it up to like you could trail it at the lower wick. So like for example, you can move it right here basically at I'd move it to 60. So 50,000 60. And then if this moves up higher, you can move it up here to 50,000 80. And then you can go for that full 60, or if you want to get out at 40, it's already at 40. It's looking good. It's about to hit. Today was a really good day, guys. I mean, just looking at the market so far, we had a lot of good trades. We had 3 algo entries. All right, baby girl. Yeah, that. Ready for a nap. But yeah, so like I said earlier, guys, if you want to move your stop loss and profit, you could, but it's already at 40 points. If you're happy with 40, I'd get out at 40. But if you want to move your stop loss and profit, you can move it to 50, 80 right here. Honestly, I would just pull out because it's at the structure, right? This is what I was worried about. This is why whenever I take a trade, I try to have it below the structure. So I want the target to hit before it reaches this higher high. Because typically what happens is it'll bounce off it like it did right here. Because it is currently ranging between structure back and forth between this area here. I mean, nonetheless, this this analysis played out pretty nice. I'm really uh what's it called? I'm pleased with like what the algo was able to present today. Like it's crazy. I haven't seen like the algo hit this often. Well, because obviously we have a lot of no entries. But now that I'm just taking the algo as is, three back-to-back wins right here, and then possibly this one as well. If you would have pulled out at the 40. There's another one at 8 o'clock. It was for also for a buy, but I wouldn't take that one there. Or I mean, I guess you could have if you wanted to. But again, it'd be the same situation. There'd be a higher high right here. So, all right. I think this might be it for today. Let me check if there's any other questions here. Yeah, so Steven exited for profit there as well. Here's CJ's entries for the day. He got 150 points for 2 entries. Nice work. So basically 300 points right there. Great work, CJ. I'm catching both of those. Yeah, he had issues with NinjaTrader, so he finally got on actually. Nice. Yeah, solid wins right there. So CJ, this is his first entry, full TP on that one, 150 points. He was trading on the 10-minute time frame. And then also right here, back-to-back wins. So solid work, guys. I'm excited to take the algo entries tomorrow. Like I said, I'm gonna try to take the algo entries earlier in the session, so like closer to like, before 7:15, 7:30. If you guys want to go back and test, if you guys have the ac access to the spreadsheet over here, you can go back and test it. Go back and test it. I went back for the whole year and it actually came up some pretty good entries. But all right, I think that might be it for the day, guys. So looking at the trades for today, a lot of wins today. Three algo entries back to back for wins. There's some high-low scalps, MPSPAs, MPS V2s, etc., and they all pretty much played out pretty nicely. Yeah, basically just follow the trend down. Like I said, if you follow the trend, it's going to be ideal. You don't have to follow the trend, but ideally, if you do follow the trend, it'll usually play out pretty nicely. But I think that's it. So. All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, great day overall. Looks like a lot of you guys here locked in profits. If you guys want to share more profits, feel free to share them. Steven over here locked in 11 for the day. Nice work, Steven. And Masij over here with the copied accounts made 20,700. So great work right there, guys. Again, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hit me up on Discord. I got the baby today, so probably not going to respond to you until later on the afternoon. But if you guys do have any questions, feel free to reach out. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session.